Greetings, everybody. I am Lobo, and welcome to Luna. This is episode 180 of my Minecraft survival series, and a couple episodes back, we spent some time clearing out this peninsula that was over here, getting rid of all the land, because remember, eventually, we do want Luna to be surrounded by water, right? So prior to that, we took out a bunch of land that was over here on this side of Luna. Everything you see, all that land down there, 1 block deep, that used to be land. There used to be mountains. It used to, you get the point, right? So today, what we're going to do is continue with that. We're going to get rid of a bunch of land over here on this side of Luna as well. Namely, this peninsula right over here. I want all this gone, vanished. So we'll just set up a little temporary workstation over here with additional temporary storage. And I know I'm accumulating a lot of temporary storage places around Luna. I promise we will eventually go ahead and put all this stuff away in the storage system in Luna. Eventually. But, let's not worry about that right now. First things first. We're going to be clearing out some land, so I need to get a beacon up. I need to get some torches down. All right, so I was just looking at this, and I don't think we're going to actually get rid of this entire peninsula. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop just short of the mountain that's over here, because I do think that having a mountain right here, like this mountain right here, would legitimately help the landscape, offer a bit of variety in the landscape so it's not just flat water. And I'm not just being lazy. I do think that that might actually look good. And just so you guys can get a good idea of the land we're actually cutting out now, it's going to be everything on the inside of that dirt line right there. So yeah, significantly less work than I was originally planning to do, which is good for me. So now that we're back on track, let me go ahead and get my torches down. That way we don't have too many issues with mobs, since we will be mining this area out at night. And it's looking like we're predominantly going to have to be dealing with the drowned over here, which is not too big of a deal. Hi. Unless they sneak up on me, that is, while I'm distracted with other guys. All right, I still need to put more torches down, but I'm going to do that in the daytime. And I think that should just about do it for us as far as torch spam goes. Yeah. That should keep us relatively safe over here. So now that we've got the newest member of Law, Decoy Dog, over here, you guys know what time it is.
It's daytime.
Yes, DD, it is technically daytime, but I was more talking to these guys. It's time to go ahead and put on a little bit of music and get to work.
Yes, it is also daytime.
And welcome back, everybody. Would you guys look at this? Look at this. Feels good. Now, eventually the water is going to be more than 1 block deep. We talk about this all the time. It will eventually be more than 1 block deep. Right now, we're just trying to get a rough idea of how our shorelines and everything are going to look. But there's still a lot more work to do here in the future. And I mean a lot more work, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to, you know, focus on this, what we actually accomplished today. Feels good. Now, as far as the rest of the episode goes, we're going to continue building upon what we started in episode 178. In that episode, we got these watchtowers built in here at the near approach. Today, I want to continue working on the near approach. Now, if you guys remember the original plan for this place, I wanted not only the watchtowers built in here, but I also wanted some market stalls, like merchant trading areas on the outside of Luna, right? But looking at this, and I have been looking at, there's actually not a whole lot of room to build structures around our platforms. I mean, even though these are going to be fairly small structures, we're going to have to give ourselves a bit more room to work. So I guess how we need to start off then is by re-terraforming this little island that we'd previously terraformed now that we have a much better idea of how much space we are actually going to need. So I think the first thing we need to do is go ahead and figure out the actual height of where our land is going to be. And I think I'm going to make this pretty much even with the platforms that go along the path to Luna. That way, in case we want to get something, like let's say if there's a market stall over here, we can just walk right out from the pathway, right? Now, the opening is probably not going to be right here. Like, we'll actually figure out, like, where the openings are going to be. Like, we could put one, like, maybe over here between the light posts. That would seem to make a little bit more sense. But yeah, that gives us easy access out into this area. Another thing I want to do is actually connect up these two nearest platforms to Luna. That way, we don't have to go around the long way to actually get where we want to go, right? We can either take the scenic route, or we can take the route that gets us where we want to be. And actually, I think we could probably put that opening like right here, because this would not only connect these two platforms, but also give us access to the merchant area. Now, as for the land outside of the platforms, we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to bring the land up to the same height as the platforms, where we're actually going to have the merchant areas, the market stalls, and the trading wagons and all that stuff. But the difference is out here, we're going to have to figure out a way to connect the far sides of that bit of land down into the natural terrain, or the unnatural terrain, since it's kind of, you know, been pre-terraformed, right? So let me try to figure that out, I guess. And then we can have an opening into this market area coming off of this platform right here, so that we can easily walk out of here. And, you know, just to give you guys an idea of like what I'm thinking, what my thought process is. I'm still kind of working on stuff. Excuse me, Mr. Doggy Puppy Wolf Guy. Kind of needs to put some dirt down in your spot right there. No? Fine. You know, I'll do it later, I guess. Aha! He's out! He's out! Ah! Got it! Thank you. Peed in my workflow over here. Now, it's not looking like we have enough room over here to add a market stall, because I want to maintain this, like, river, right? But I do think maybe over here on this side facing the ocean, we could have the land kind of jut out and put in another little merchant area over here. But I don't want to change up the land too much, right? I don't want to have it go out too far out into the water. So I think what we might do over here is have this kind of jut out into like an overhanging cliff face. That way we don't need to maintain any kind of slope, right? So just to illustrate what I was talking about a little bit better for you guys, we'll have the actual land right here where we'll have our market stalls kind of jut out over where our beach is below it. Hey, you guys ever notice this little happy face over here? I don't know if I've ever pointed this out. I've noticed it a couple times, this little happy face right here. Hopefully that won't be super apparent by the time we finish this. Anyway, I said we don't have enough room over here to add like a market stall or anything, but I do want to add something over here, maybe like a little rest area. And when I say rest area, I mean that more in the literal sense, like not a place with facilities, you know, where you can go to get snacks or, you know, use the toilet because you've been out on the road for too long. Like, I just want this to actually be like a rest area. Maybe I have some just spots over here for people to actually sit down and rest because they've been on the road for too long. But now we've had some time to consider what we're actually going to do here, and I think we probably have enough surface area to actually make that happen. So what I want to do at this point is go ahead and start terraforming the rest of this land to kind of match the surface that we put in there, right? So we'll put our kind of just like a rough, like I'm not going to do like the actual real terraforming with details and all that stuff yet. We'll do like a rough terraforming of everything, try to figure out what our cliff faces are going to look like, try to figure out the slope of the land where it's going to be more slopey, more hilly, you know, try to, you know, just get everything put together the way it needs to be put together, right? And then we'll come back in here a little bit later once we have everything built, then we'll do the actual details and all that stuff. Sound like a plan? Now, I know I told you guys this a bit earlier, but that's a rough terraforming, right? It's a rough terraforming. I don't want you to get the wrong idea, you know, because eventually, probably later on this episode, we'll go back and do something like we did over here at the far approach as far as our cliff faces, our slopes and stuff over here. But we'll go back in and add a lot more details to it, kind of, you know, flush it out, make it look a lot nicer, right? But, I mean, the main reasons why I wanted to do like a rough terraforming to start off with is because eventually, as we start building the structures, we may find that we need more room, and I don't want to have to re-terraform everything all over again, right? But speaking of the far approach, which you just left, you remember, Didi, you remember when we worked over that far approach back when you were, you know, a bad guy working for Wolfen's Labs?
No, I do not recall.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's probably for the best. Yeah, anyway, the next thing I want to do is go ahead, excuse me, Piggy, kind of in my way here a little bit. Next thing I want to do is go ahead and start figuring out our market stalls, roughly the size and shape of them to start off with. Definitely not this big. We have to go kind of small with these guys. And I know I've also mentioned wagons a couple times. This is what I'm talking about when I refer to wagons. These little merchant wagons we have sitting over here inside the Grand Rotunda. I want to put a few of those outside the walls as well, because I want to tie both these areas in together, all for that sense of cohesion. And also lore-wise, I imagine the merchants over here, the ones, you know, trading outside the walls of Luna, they don't live in Luna, right? They just come over here, do their trading, do their business, make a little bit of money, right? So that's basically what I was thinking out of as far as that goes. Oh, come on. Another thunderstorm. I just repaired all the thunder damage, all the fire damage we had from our previous thunderstorms. This is ridiculous. The weather here is terrible. The weather in Luna is terrible. One change I think we're going to make to these new wagons, though, these new wagons in the merchant stalls, is that we're going to add a bit more color to them. Because remember, these merchants, they want to attract customers, right? They need to be seen. They need to be, I want these things to be vibrant and just bring a little bit more life to the area. Now, since I know what the wagons are going to look like, I think we're going to go ahead and start with those and just get a feel for, you know, how we want to set up this area. And before somebody says there's no logical way for these wagons to make their way to where they currently are following Luna's paths, which are too skinny, let me just say that you don't know about the night bus technology that these merchants have access to. So just, you know, don't embarrass yourself in the comments. Just let it go, right? Yep, there it goes. There's a delayed reaction. But now that we know these wagons do take up a pretty good amount of space, we're probably going to want to move the merchant stall back just a tiny bit. And, you know, I did have to extend the land a little bit already. So, I mean, this is the reason why we didn't do the full terraforming up front, right? It's because we knew we were going to have to make some changes here. But now we can go ahead and start building the actual market stall. And this is going to be interesting because it's going to be a small kind of open build as I'm imagining it. That's going to be built on a diagonal. So I guess the first thing we should probably do then is just figure out the floor plan, like what the shape of it's going to be, right? So we'll go ahead and get countertops in the whole way around using these upside down stairs. I don't know if I want to have the bottom of the crafting table visible right there. I mean, we could get rid of it. We could easily get rid of that. Maybe we will. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get rid of these. We'll put upside down stairs like this. And yeah, that's okay. I want at least the top of the crafting table visible. That way it looks like we got something going on the countertops, right? Now, as far as building up, what I think we can do is we can actually kind of push the opening out a little bit more. Like if we take these stairs, we can do this right here, and that kind of makes the openings a little bit wider at the front and back. And then we'll have the actual supports, the support structure going up more towards the sides. Yeah, I think that helps. That helps it feel more open, right? Now, we don't want this to be too tall, but I think maybe coming back in right about there I think that should be good, right? So we can go ahead and bring this side up as well, just so we can get a good idea of how this is ultimately going to look when viewed from the front, right? Front and back, because both the front and back would be pretty much identical. Yeah, I think that helps. That kind of lets us get into the roof then. And as far as the roof goes, we're going to be using pretty much the same block palette that we're going to be using for the tops of our wagons, trying to keep with that fabric-y feel, right? So I want to keep going with the quartz and the wool. I want to use a lot of the quartz so we can get the stairs and slabs and kind of, you know, get a good shape going. I think that's okay. That's okay for the front, I think. Almost. Give me a minute. All right, so right now I'm just going in with the quartz and trying to figure out the general shape of our roof, and I am out of stairs, but that's okay because, you know, we're not building the entire roof out of quartz. I want to alternate quartz and also the wool, as I was saying. So we can go back in here now, add a bit of wool to this, and just kind of see how it looks, see if it's something we want to roll with or not. That could use a bit of work. You know what? When in doubt, just throw more blocks at it, right? Just start throwing blocks around. Actually, hold up. This might not be... We might be on the right path here. We might be. Okay. Now, I'm getting this little wrinkle effect right here, which, you know, I was trying to get rid of, but I think we're going to roll with it, because remember, the top of this is supposed to be fabric, right? So what we could do is go ahead and put this in here like that, and see it's like off to the side a little bit. It looks like the top of the tent's wrinkled. I think I like that. The top of the... it's not really a tent, but like the tent roof, the canvas roof, or whatever we want to pretend this roof is made out of. Yeah, I think I like that. We'll see if we can get the same thing going on this side, and yeah, we're going to get the same thing going on this side. So, yeah. We'll roll with that. Then we can come in and start adding a bit more structure to the interior as well. And basically what we're going to be doing is trying to make this thing make a little bit more sense. Like, you see where it looks kind of awkward where the wood kind of meets the roof? We're going to go ahead and try to ease that transition a little bit better, especially like right here in these areas where the wool is. Yeah, we definitely want to hide that. So we can do something like that, and over here as well, take care of this. And yeah, I think I like that. I think I like that. Then we can go ahead and start adding a bit more detail to it. Throw some of these fence posts around here, just like this, not like that. And we'll go ahead and see how that looks. Yeah, I think the fence posts definitely add to it. So we can go ahead and throw a few more of those around. If you insist. I wasn't really anticipating putting them right there, but we can try it, see what we think of it. I think I like that though. It looks like collapsible, you know, like a collapsible roof. And then to finish things off, I want to go ahead and bring these countertops out just a little bit further, because putting the trapdoors on top of the countertops, that makes them non-spawnable. And I think it also makes it look a little bit better as well. And there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we think of it. And overall, I like it. This crafting table, completely pointless, by the way. That was like the main thing I wanted in there, but you know what? I think we're fine without it. I'm going to leave it there for the time being. But I think we're good. But before we build any more of those, I want to also start getting in a railing surrounding these areas where villagers are going to be able to freely roam around, right? So we want to make sure that we prevent them from making their way off the well-lit paths leading up to Luna and down the hill into the water where zombies and drown will be waiting to snack on their faces. I don't want that. They for sure don't want that. And maybe we'll just go ahead and extend this out just a teensy bit further. That way we can actually have some room to walk around the back here. So now we have some templates to reference for our market stalls and also for our wagons. We know roughly what we want our landscaping to look like. Again, we're going to be doing cliffs like we did over there at the far approach, small ones, and some overgrown beaches like this right here. Yeah, so I think the only thing we really have to do at this point is to go ahead and let Dee Dee know we're ready. Dee Dee, normally he's like right behind me as soon as I say his name. Dee Dee! No? Interesting. Oh, look at him up there, already anticipating our needs. You're doing a great job, Dee Dee.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Voice carries. Anyway, at this point, let's go ahead and put on a little bit of music and get the rest of the near approach done.
Welcome back, everybody.
Excellent work, Dee. Excellent work. Pretty soon he'll be doing my job. He'll be taking over for me. Welcome back, everybody. Let's have a look at the near approach now that it's, for the most part, done, right? Near approach, for the most part, is done. There's probably a couple of things I'll tweak here and there, just, but it's not important. For the most part, it's done. We accomplished what we set out to do, right, with the cliff faces and the sandy beaches, and there's actually probably a pretty good amount of stuff we're going to have to do to the land surrounding this to actually make it cohesive with the terrain that we put in. For instance, like, I might have to go back over some areas because you see over on the left side of the bank, we got green concrete, we got coarse dirt. I'll probably have to add some over here as well just to make everything kind of match up a little bit better. Those are little tweaks and stuff I was telling you about. But I just want to fly around here real quick and give you guys a good feel for how everything was looking on the outside. We'll go ahead and walk around the inside in just a minute. Ow. You know what? Meant to do that. Meant to do that. Pay no attention to my skin knee. Meant to do that. I just wanted to give you guys a good view from the top of this tree right here of the sun setting behind the near approach. Yeah, for the most part, I'm happy with it. So the near approach was the last section of the approach we needed to finish, but I'm not going to call the approach done yet, not until we get the water sorted out, right? But we can go ahead and check out the near approach. As you can see, we can get from platform to platform relatively easy now. We can access the merchant area in between the platforms. And eventually I do want to stock up the merchant areas. Like we have the chest over there, right? What I want to do is not take out my jump boost beacon before I'm done using it. Well, it's okay. We'll go the long way. It's fine. So you guys have seen this area already. You haven't seen it landscaped quite yet, so maybe we'll go ahead and take a quick walk around here. We got some custom trees in here, which is fun. You know, I haven't done big custom trees in a while. We got some other odds and ends in here. So yeah, this area is coming together. Now, as you can see, this wagon is labeled camping supplies. That's because we're going to be storing campfires in here and other camping supplies in here eventually as well. I need to figure out what we want to stock up in each of these merchant stalls and each of these wagons and stuff, but I think it might be fun once this is a bustling area to come over here and gather supplies every now and then. I think that might be kind of fun and interesting, right? Over here on the opposite side of this platform, we have our little rest area where, you know, if we've been traveling for a while, we just want to take a load off, we can sit down here by the fire and just relax, taking the view, right? I mean, you got to kind of crane your head to actually see the approach. Ow! But if you don't mind charred feet and you want to see the approach, you can always sit on this side of the fire and you got an excellent view over here. I mean, I guess if you enjoy nature, if you're that kind of person that enjoys, you know, a nice cool breeze in your face and birds chirping, you could sit on that first log. But as far as this platform goes, we're going to actually take the long way around, the scenic view, the nature trail through here, and just kind of, you know, just see how this all looks. You know, you walk under the trees and stuff like that and just kind of, you know, it's nice. You know, this is a nice way around if you're not in a hurry, right? But we do have access to another merchant area over here on this side. We have another wagon over here where we'll eventually stock up stuff to buy. And yeah, I mean, it also doesn't make sense that this wagon squeezed through this area somehow, but you know, it did. And the merchant area over here as well, this merchant stall, which again, will get stocked up eventually as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much all there is to look at aside from my huge mess right here, which I really should have put away before starting this clip. Kind of ruins the view. All right, I've cleaned up after myself, but you know, I just noticed flying back and forth. It's so crazy to actually see this, like to see all this land kind of coming together to be, you know, like I don't know. I didn't realize we gotten this much done at the approach. Like it kind of just hit me all at once. Wow, we've actually accomplished a lot over in this section of the world. It's just fun to see it all come together. It's just, oh, my happy face is still there, just with a lopsided nose. he's got a lopsided, I got distracted. by happy face. Anyway, I do think that is going to do it for, Anyway, I think that's going to do it for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that little thumbs up button. That would mean a whole lot to me. And if you want to see more, please remember to subscribe. But as always, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I am Lobo, and I will see you guys later.